Hey there folks, what is going on right here, and welcome back to an episode of Cards and Castles TV Commentary. With today, we've got some amazing matches lined up for you today. So, without further ado, let's go ahead, jump into match number 1, and see what goes down. Alright folks, in that first match will be Tartan taking on Ong here. Hopefully I get that pronunciation correct. I might have butchered this before. But anyway, it's going to be a Viking Crusader taking on Warlock Pirate. Two combinations that you don't really typically see in these, at least higher plays of ladder, it looks like. Obviously, 3-3-3-8, certainly not something to scoff at there. So going ahead and jump into the matchup. We'll see how things go here. We're going to see a lot of 3 drops from Ong in the opening hand, so problematic, especially since he does not have the coin. And actually, Tartan uses his to boost out a priest early on. No response, so it looks like he's going to have to take that 3 damage to face here, which I believe, oh, no, okay, not before throwing another priest out into the board here. So a 3-3 and another priest close behind. So already kind of problematic for Ong here. Hopefully he can recover with maybe one of these Maddies here, get some kind of big mage. Does pull a wind mage, so that is going to be some good stall for him. Hopefully he can probably use that to control some of these priests here. The Dragon Crest Shield, though, going to make it a little bit difficult for him to do. And he has some options here. We do see the top deck Arcfire, so maybe that is in the cards here for Ong, but we'll see. He does go for the Wind Mage, so obviously no Blacksmith play, because he would have thrown that out before. So ends up Blue Fire bolting, which is fine. You could go for either Arcfire or Blue Fire, whatever you feel like you're going to make more use of later. I guess I hope maybe he can utilize that Arcfire a bit later in the matchup when he still has that 4 damage. He does have a Maddie as well in hand, so it looks like he's going to throw the second one out for some more mages. He does pull the Pyromancer. Not too bad here. We'll see Tartan probably run that Lumberjack up. Yep, for some additional chip damage. Not too bad. Followed by a normal summon of Wraith, which we don't really see too often. But kind of an overlooked card. 3-8 for 5 health, and especially that fear, that pushback. Paired with the Vikings for some chain action. Definitely a card that people do sleep on for sure. But otherwise, getting back into the matchup here, we'll see how that 3-8 affects the board. We're going to see a normal summon of the Andrew, so that does normal summon when we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! We're going to see the pop of the Lumberjack that does boost Andrew to a 4-7, thanks to that last will effect. Followed up by the Lightning Blade into the Wraith, okay, so followed by 3 of Victory. So it looks like maybe some kind of Wraith-focused buff here. And of course, that Fear going to push back the Andrew and the Lightning pop. Didn't really matter for the pushback because the Lightning would have popped anyway. Blacksmith at the board, so Pyromancer and Wind Mage combined can be enough to take down this Wraith here. Very nicely done. And probably throw the Hovel. Looks like, okay, Hovel. And then looks like even Arcfire as well to just kind of clear the board completely, kind of holding off against Sagro. I think you could have taken the 3 additional damage and not, waste the Arcfire, but, I mean, that's fine. Looks like Joan Vieira, they're going to make an appearance, so definitely could not have used the Arcfire against it. I believe she has Deflect, so I guess that's fine here. We're going to see a Wind Mage push, so that's going to low. I think, actually, this does kill Joan Vieira, right? Yeah. Pyromancer does take away the Resolve and the Maddie to finish off with that one shot. And then maybe, okay, looks like Mordok as well for the gold on this turn, followed by a little bit of that rat movement at the bottom there. And I'm really turning this match around. I mean, the Mordok, these mages really doing, or Mordok potentially could do some work here. The mages have been doing some work here, clearing out some of these threats here like Wraith and Genevieve. Although a second Wraith followed by the Cloak of Ice and the Thrill of Victory here will take out that Wind Mage that was pushed a little too aggressively. Pyromancer going to go ahead and take a shot here. Mordok in the hand as well. Going to be ahead, or be enough, excuse me, to clean up that, that second Wraith from Tartan. And summoning a Wraith of his own, so putting some additional pressure onto the board here. Crack is going to make an appearance. Looks like he's going to connect with the Rat for some draw, but leaving a lot of damage on the board here. The Pyromancer, the Wraith, and the Mordok. I mean, at that point, I mean, you either have the freeze or you don't in this case. I don't really think he does, though, just based on the way that went down. Scope on the Mordok. Dangerous combination here for Tartan. Looks like another Wraith gets summoned, so enough to kind of kill the Craxus without giving Tartan any additional draw. Not what he likes to see as he continues to push up some units here. General, more Rats. A second Wraith, like we said, making an appearance here. And I think this might be the game for him. Swordsman Battle Ready, though. Cool little combination here. Going to be enough to take out both the Wraith and the Mordok without the Mordok getting an additional summon, obviously, thanks to that cleave angle. Very nicely done there. Blacksmith, though, going to hit the board here. And I think if this isn't the game, then it's going to probably be Wraith takes 5. General hits in for 6. The Rider last will connects the castle. And then, yeah, Pyromancer finish it off. Really doesn't matter where that last will goes. And that was the game. I believe the... I think I clipped the recording too soon here. But that will be a victory for Ong. Very nicely done. Very nice comeback here against that early pressure from the Crusader Vikings. Honestly, I did feel like, once Ong stopped that initial wave of, Priest, and then really at the kill of the first Wraith here, that's when it started to go downhill for Tartan. Usually Crusader Viking decks don't do too well in that early game scenario. They want to have more of a late game presence, and that's where they tend to shine. Unfortunately, I don't think it just didn't work out for Tartan here. Obviously, we saw a couple of Wraith plays which were nice, but ultimately Ong had the Ong had the answers. It's a little bit of a twister there. From the Morlocks to the Mages, yeah, overall just nice responses. So congrats to him for picking up the win here. But with that being said, we move on to match number 2. So let's go ahead and see what that match has in store for us. Alright, folks, and it is match number 2 coming up. We've got DreamEater taking on Helios in a little bit of a mirror faction matchup here. The Warlock Crusader against Warlock Crusader. So we'll see what both of these players have against one another here. We could probably see some Last Will form, maybe some no interaction. Again, we'll have to see as the match progresses here. Maybe looks like more Last Will for Helios here as we're seeing General in the opening hand. Dream, of course, going to go ahead and play the Rider. Alright, so a little bit of a Priest counteraction to that. Going to take some health off Castle, but not too much thanks to that Priest heal. So 19-20 start things off here. Nothing too significant, although a second Rider and Lumberjack now thrown into the mix here. And I mean, if Helios had the Andrew at this point, he could really be able to utilize these Last Will units here, but looks like we're not seeing Andrew just yet. We're going to throw out a Wizard, though, as an attempt to block for some of this damage, or really just for cleanup later on. But looks like the blue Firebolt coming down and shutting down that Wizard, allowing 3 additional damage to come into the castle here. Not the best start for Helios, just taking a lot of damage here and doesn't really have a lot of clean responses. Going to see the Fat Bard make an appearance, though, connect with the Lumberjack. That's kind of okay. He doesn't want to take that Rider risk, although I do admit allowing the Rider to take more damage in is a bit problematic. I could have seen the reasoning, though, behind going with the Rider here, or going with the Lumberjack here as the kill instead of Rider. Obviously, whatever risk, you're willing to take, whether it's the draw or taking the damage, personally up to the player. But I would have gone for the Rider, personally. But it looks like Rider going to go ahead and plop down the Tarius Files to protect himself from that Bard, although Helios top decking a much-needed Banshee for his game, or for his draw, excuse me, and that will, of course, connect with the Rider. Gets killed off by the Rider's Last Will, picking up a Battle Cry. Give me some good fear for later, I imagine, but, we'll have to get there at some point. We'll see Cleric make an appearance. Okay, so continuing that pressure that he kind of built on. Hopefully Dream can connect with that Cleric here. We'll see another Banshee, though, as a top deck to stop that Cleric. Drain life, though. Oh, that's going to be bad. That's going to be bad for Helios. That's going to connect with the Banshee here, not doing as much damage, and then healing that back up completely. And now with a 4/6 Cleric on face. Yeah, very problematic here. The Fear, though, is a nice pickup that will, of course, push away that Cleric for the time being. Darkbender looking to make an appearance as well here. And the Arcfire, which he does go for aggressively here instead of conserving it for the next turn. Which I'm not really sure how I feel about that, but I guess, okay, Flamestorm, so that makes the Cleric sacrifice a little more painful, or a little, well, that makes the preemptive burn a little smarter, but it makes the sacrifice a bit worse for Dream. Of course, you look at the Tarius File snipe, though, which of course did allow him to get into this cheaper Horseman for the turn, which did connect to the Darkbender. So, again, not really going Helios' way in this matchup here. There's the Andrew pickup, which we could use a little earlier, in my opinion. Well, we'll still get it out regardless here. So getting the Tarius Files followed by the Andrew. We'll see if Dream has a second Flamestorm, which it looks like we do not. That's going to lead to a second Kraxus, second bit of the video. First Kraxus in this game being summoned here, and that's going to provide some good battle cry value, pushing back the Horseman and Kraxus to where they can do nothing. Andrew, though, not moving. I'm not really sure if maybe we want to get that a little closer to Castle for some extra damage, but regardless, we're going to keep it there. Take a blue Firebolt for our troubles as well here as we push in a Wizard and Cleric for the turn. Yeah, okay, so we have issues here. We have Dragon's Fire, though, so that could hopefully clean things up here. I'm trying to think, though, like, what could we really see? I mean, I think he has to get the General out of this turn. He did pull the Fear as well, so hopefully he can use that. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe Fear in general is the play here. We'll see Fear backing on the Wizard. Very nice. Okay, Rider's a good pickup as well. A little extra defense to the game for his castle. Fortify going on Andrew. I guess that makes sense. We don't really have any sort of freeze or stun lurking in Warlock Crusader here, so I guess play it to kind of exhaust the hand a little bit early to kind of make room for whatever you pull off the Arcanon. Rider gets popped by Wizard, who in then turn gets dealt damage from that Rider's last will. We do see the Arbiter come in onto the Andrew here, followed up by the Coin into another Wizard. So, I do want to take a moment here and kind of point out that Arbiter did not connect to the Armory, which I might have felt was maybe a better option here. Maybe, I mean, just by that action alone, I could maybe predict that he's got some kind of AoE, Dragon's Fire, or Flamestorm to kind of kill off the Andrew, because of course you do put it in that sweet spot range of AoE killing. But yeah, kind of curious though, because I mean, I would have think maybe the Armory was a better removal, so that way maybe we can interact with the General a bit more easily with the Craxus, but I mean, that's fine. Going to do some damage there. As we move into the late game here, or at least I think we might actually have already. The Dragon's Fire gets popped, which obviously provides some big value, getting rid of the Horseman and the Weakened Wizard. Fear going to go ahead, though, for Dream. Going to go ahead and push the Eater down a bit. Drain Life. Okay, so there was some spell damage, so some value to hitting that, hitting the Andrew. I forgot his name already here. Second Dragon's Fire top deck, though. Very nice, very nice. That will kill off most of the board here, leaving Craxus weakened but alive, for sure. And this Eater can actually engage with it a lot more easily now. Flamestorm, though, from Dream. That's going to deal 2 damage, obviously. Though Tari's File draw for Helios. Not too bad. Everything else, though, taking a bit of a beating. Dwarf Paladin as well here. So, okay, I don't... Has this been a Last Will deck from Dream, as I'm kind of looking at the matchup here? I don't really... Have we seen... I guess we have seen a lot of Last Will tools. I don't think we've seen Andrew, though. Oh, well. So for the turn... Probably... Okay, so Fearing back on the Paladin. Maybe hoping to get some Last Will synergy to interact with the Craxus here. We don't, so General going to have to just trade right in there. That's fine. Andrew, though, looking to be played now. Okay, very nice. Plus Rat King. So I'm going to try and Swarm Dream here based on his low card count and his use of multiple Flamestorms already, hoping that he doesn't have a third in deck, or in hand, excuse me. As the damage continues to tick away here, Fear going to go ahead and push the Rat King back. That'll set him up for some draw. Fear as well on that second top rat. So kind of protecting his castle here and doing those middle 2 rats instead of the uppermost ones. Kind of buy himself some more time here. Flying Books after the Divine Knowledge play, I believe that was. And, of course, going to go ahead and go back to Helios. Helios has a big opportunity here to get the Arbiters. Actually, no. Rat King did not allow it to go forth. So it looks like he's going to have to double Flamestorm here, which allows him to take 2. But really need to get this second, well, really needs to get, excuse me, this Arbiter down in the next turn. Hoping Dream does not have a burn here, but in Warlock Crusader, seems highly unlikely as we go to his turn. We don't need to see a burn to stay in the matchup. Will we see it? Yes, we do. Drain Life does hit the board here, so that does mean Helios does not walk away with the victory. Kind of unfortunate there. I do think that Arbiter probably would have extended this game, if not for that Rat King. I don't know. I think maybe the second Flamestorm was unnecessary there, in my opinion. I understood the first one to kind of clear off your Rat King, so that way you have the gold to play Arbiter for the next turn. But the second one, opening up the castle, while it is fine, it does put you in a dangerous range like we saw there. I mean, who knows if Dream had an additional burn on top of the Drain Life, but maybe if we didn't play the second Flamestorm, we could have, extended the game a little bit longer thanks to the Arbiter. But regardless, it was still a great match, and congrats to DreamEater for picking up that win. And with that being said, guys, we move into match number 3, so let's go ahead and jump into that one right now. Alright, folks, and we jump into our final matchup now, and it is going to be the Duke taking on Chacha. Now, honestly, I can probably have some solid confidence in saying that if there is any game on ladder that will be the highlight of the day, I think this match definitely takes the cake here. But without further ado, let's get into it. The Duke in the Ninja Pirate taking on Chacha in the Viking Crusader. You see the time length. It's going to be a good one. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Already, I mean, from the hand here, a collection of cards. Inspire, Verdict, Church, and Frost Giant. Things you don't normally see in this level of play. So really curious to see if maybe something gets made out of this, or something fantastic, because obviously in the hand right now, not looking too strong, but we'll continue on here. As a pass from both players, turn 1 leads to an inspired turn 2 from Chacha, pulling the Zerker and Questing Knight. Very nice, and that means Duke, of course, gets the card, or gets the turn passed back. Will lead to a Were Rat here, very nice, so a little bit of first strike action from the Duke. We'll see how Chacha can get around that, considering these colors aren't the best at taking out first strike without things like resolve here. But we will see him set that verdict and not push in the Were Rat. Good observation, and not pushing the Were Rat thanks to him knowing Questing Knight and Berserker in hand. And with the way that Were Rat is right now, they can of course kill that off, and even in Berserker's case can gain some stats out of that. So obviously a good call in holding it back here. But we will see a pass back to Chacha for turn 4. Probably going to lead him to, okay, looks like he's going to go for Questing Knight, takes out the Elvish Thief. That's fine. Doesn't want him to get any sort of additional Elvish Thief ramp value, so I guess that's fair here. Maybe would have thought Berserker, but Question Knight is fine all the same. We'll do pull an Arctic Explorer off the top, which is going to be great to deal with this Banshee from the Duke. Gets him a Smuggling Ring, though, and especially in these colors, that could be very dangerous. Got a lot of things in this deck that can use the Smuggling Ring well, like Robin, so we'll have to see. Verdict hits the board, though, after that Explorer gets killed off. It does thankfully hit the Were Rat, so that is one less problem for Chacha to deal with. Picks up Pacifism, which is an interesting choice here, but does pull RedMaster onto the board here. That's going to be some nice card gain for him, especially since Duke doesn't have, well, he has things like Dagger Storm, Execution, and Murder, but I'm not sure if we're going to see any of those in this matchup here. We do see Berserker, though, hit the board here, and Ice Drake as well. Okay. They're not going to push him with Atarius, and that's fine, because that is going to be what we definitely need to kind of preserve our game a little bit here, continuing to build up these resources. And there is a Magic Eater, okay, followed by an Armory. Now, this is dangerous. We did see the Smuggling Ring earlier in the Duke's hand, thanks to, I believe, a Banshee. So if he can properly utilize that Smuggling Ring, this could get very dangerous very quickly here. We're going to see Reclaim for the turn here. Again, interesting choice because Eater is on the field here. But looks like we are going to do a little bit of Reclaim action, so Armor gets taken. Everything else gets a little bit of buffed here. And, of course, Church gets thrown down with the extra gold here, which is, fine. No reason to throw down Pacifism or Pulverize your own building. But that does leave a great Mordock target here for the Duke here, as we do see he takes it. And, of course, Banshee from the Mordock summon evenly trades into that Ice... into the Berserker, and then Shaman trades into the Ice Drake. But, the Yarm value here. You could smell it from a mile away here. Yarm hits the board, connects with the Frozen Shaman, and does a little bit of chain all around, taking out the Magic Eater, as well as the Blacksmith, weakening Mordock to a measly 4-1, and he can't even really reach without things like Scope or Phantom Strike. Very nice. But Execution plus Dagger Storm hits the board, so of course Chacha will have his board kind of reset as well in a matter of speaking. But Mordock is left on the board here, so that is a bit problematic here. Do see the Yenoroth play, which makes sense here, kind of freezing off the Mordock, hoping it can't really do anything here. As we'll throw it back to the Duke. Does pull a Robin's for his turn, and then I mentioned folks that Robin's Smuggling Ring, that's gonna be dangerous here now, especially with Magic Eater. That could be very, very problematic for Chacha. A lot of minor spells, a lot of boosting of this Eater, and if he's not careful, it could be the game here. So going ahead, of course, Smuggling Ring going ahead and taking a lot of minor spells. I'm not going to read them all off to you. You can see them in your hand right there. And, I mean, we'll see them hopefully later on. I believe all of them do make an appearance in the matchup as a spoiler. But, hey, it is what it is here. Lich coming into the hand. Looks like that's going to be the card to use as we freeze off the Eater and Mordock, which is great. That's definitely what we need to see there. Mordock, especially since we can make that clean connection without getting him another unit. Followed by the Frost Titan, or Frost Giant, excuse me. And of course that will lead to a bit of Shodan and a Blacksmith as well. Shifting Technique, very good. Flame Shield coming in, making an appearance. That will, of course, continue to buff Shodan. And then, like I said, a lot of minor spells kicking in here for the Duke here, for your battle as well, coming into the hand, or coming out to the board. That will, of course, continue to boost Magic Eater, and that is getting to be a big problem right there. Chacha for turn does have the Burning Sun. Oh boy. So with Burning Sun, that is going to completely nullify Magic Eater. We have to get to it though, or really not really get to it, but we do have to find the right time to use it here. I think hopefully the plan is, of course, to make Eater as big as possible, but at the last moment, potentially Burning Sun it. We'll see if that goes through. As we continue on to the matchup here, a lot of minor spells being placed onto that Magic Eater here. We do see a lot of freezing tools though from Chacha, which I think he's going to start doing. Yeah, Frozen Storm. Gonna go ahead and discard the Pacifism, which is great. Probably the least useful card in our hand next to these Pulverizers at the moment here. So that will, of course, kick in. Grudge Bear gonna go ahead and try and move in for some Thunderstrike damage as well here. Elvis Thief gonna hit the board here. Arcfire does get, I believe, 4, yet because Magic Eater is a mage, and unfortunately Incinerate as well, both of which being from Smuggling Ring will take out the Grudge Bear. But hey, we gotta keep doing what we wanted to do, which is kind of freeze off this Magic Eater. We do pull a Yenaroth for turn, which we do end up going with rather than Freezing Pillar, which is fantastic. Of course, continuing to keep the freezing applied, as well as Church Healer. As you notice in the back here, Chacha's not taking any sort of sudden death damage thanks to this Church continuing healing the castle. It's the only thing that's damaged in between these turns here, so it makes sense for that heal to apply to the castle here. We'll have to see if the Duke maybe can weaken this Yenaroth or kill it in some kind of way. Maybe he wants to kill it to protect the Eater or Robins on this board here. We'll see. Eater gonna go, not Eater. Shaman gonna go ahead with Storm Strike plus Master Thief, so yet that will be a Yenaroth kill. Does go back to Chacha's turn though, very interesting enough. It doesn't have an additional follow-up play. That does mean, more healing to the castle here. Black hits the board, freezing pillar. Okay, so again, freezing this Magic Eater off, which is the way that he needs to go here, so that way he can't really make a move. He doesn't have Fortify thanks to the Smuggling Ring, or because of the faction colors, so he should be, as long as he can keep this, Magic Eater stalled, he can, of course, keep his chances of winning alive here with this Burning Sun here. Now, I'm going to explain this play that he takes in a moment here. He goes for the Mordok, and then follows up with a, I believe, Cloak of Ice onto, the Wraith that he pulled. Now, some of you might have keenly noted that the Were-Rat was right in the range of another Yarm summon, which, if you're looking at his health total, you're thinking to yourself, that could have potentially ended the game, although not necessarily the case here. While Yarm, yes, it would have provided some good damage, it doesn't necessarily end the game, which I think, if this was maybe like a turn or two later and this setup was, applied, Yarm would definitely be the play here. But I think the reason he goes freeze is because if this connects, you do get 2 Thunderstrike hits thanks to the Robins and the Were-Rat right here. However, only one of them will connect fully to this, castle here, so you're really only doing 2 damage, leaving this Eater alive. And the reason being is because on that first lightning stroll here, the Robins will die, cutting off, or not the Robins, excuse me, the Masuda will die off the first lightning chain, cutting off the, chain in the Robins, who will also take an additional lightning, which, if this Masuda was still alive, would chain it in the game, but because we lose that Masuda, we obviously can't connect to kill. And, of course, we could also follow with the Burning Sun as well and put him on, like, a one-turn timer here. I think the freeze is definitely, I think, maybe an additional play to make, a play to go for. Yep, we're going to do the Wraith, going to do the Freezing Cloak of Ice. Yep, kind of continue to build up, continuing to stall until we can maybe pull out this big Burning Sun, which I think by now Chacha has to see and has to want to do. We'll see if Duke has a Fortify or can get to a Fortify in any sort of means or capacity. Storm Strike onto the core that he just summoned will help kill off both the Wraith and Mordok here, but that cannot unfreeze the Wraith, the Magic Eater. And of course, everything gets pushed up, moved in, very nice. And of course, the castle health does pop there. And now I think it is time. We put him on a one-turn timer here. Windmage hits the board, pushes everything away, so no support units. Grudge Bear to block the castle here, and the Burning Sun hits the board, turning a 18-15 Magic Eater into a 4-3. Now, granted, this could still do some big damage here, but he needs to kill. He needs to generate 19 points of damage to win in this matchup here, and you'll see how this goes down. So he's going to multi-strike here. That means he gets 2 attacks. And of course, that health does get boosted up, or attack, gets boosted up, which is the important factor that he wants. Scope comes into play, so he's up to 6. So right now he can deal up to 12 damage. Following that up, he does do the metal, so an additional point of damage, so that goes up to 14. Doesn't have the follow-up spell, though. Does get the 8-7, does have the ambush, which he throws on, creating the the 11 attack, which theoretically this should end the game. You know, you got the, 1 point of damage here, but he neglects to do the most important thing, which is damage another unit here. We do see the church healing the castle thanks to no other damaged unit on the board here. And that means they are tied in the sudden death here. And literally, Chacha, all he has to do is pass, because of course, Castle Heal will go back onto it. And of course, Duke will die. Overall, an insane matchup. And it came down to the wire here. If Magic Eater was just a point higher, the game would have ended. If he, didn't Burning Sun, if he didn't freeze fall that entire way, Chacha would have died multiple times throughout the game. But thanks to the free stall, he does pick up the victory here. And I just got to say, overall, an incredible matchup, for Chacha. Lots of free stuff. Burning Sun providing big value here, which, you rarely see at all, considering Burning Sun is a joke card. Overall, just an incredible game. And again, congrats to Chacha for the win. And like I said, there is probably going to be no match today that will top this as the highlight match. Just purely because of what happened and how close it came down. So again, great match by these two, and yeah, nothing can top that today, at least in my opinion. Alright, folks, and from that incredible last game, I don't think anything else can top that for today. So, with that being said, if you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like, as well as share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And leave a comment down below telling me what you thought of today's matches. And, yeah, that's going to be it for me for now. So, until next time, guys, stay gaming.